Ready?
Begin your Death Frog story.
In first person or in third person?
In third person.
The way you were just telling it.
Okay. So once upon a time, there was a handsome young man named John. In his mid-20s, maybe his early 20s, maybe he just turned 20.
20. He turned 20.
Anyways, John had a long night. He had a good night with some of his friends.
It was pretty funny.
Stop. His friends went to bed, and John was tired, and so John wanted to go to bed too, and so John went to bed. He fell asleep, and then he woke up about, what was the time? 1:30 in the morning to this hideous noise. Okay. And so John sits up and he looks around and he thinks to himself, my goodness, whatever was that noise? He looks around for a minute. There's nothing. No kids are trying to break into his room. Nothing's going on. And so he goes, oh, okay, I guess I'll just go back to sleep.
Oh, okay.
So he pulls up his covers and he gets just like this. Okay. And then about an hour passes. And he wakes up again to the exact same noise.
Sounds like a dog.
No, well, that's the problem.
Okay.
It couldn't have been a frog.
I can't do a frog noise.
Because he sat up and he looked around again
Quack.
and he said, this noise, whatever is this heinous noise, where did it come from?
Heinous.
So he looks around for a minute and he's like trying to figure it out, and all of a sudden it happens again. Okay, and by this point John is freaking out because there's obviously something making this noise, right? And so he kind of listens for a minute to hear where it's coming from, and it doesn't happen again. And he's like, ah, dang it. And so after like half an hour of like worrying, like, oh, the Grim Reaper's coming, he lies back down and goes to sleep, and then he wakes up a third time to this hideous, this horrendous noise of this creature, this monster that is going, okay, and it happens, and it won't stop happening. And by this time, I'm listening for it. I mean, John is listening for it. And he knows that the noise is coming from the corner of his bed, which is kind of scary because the bed is where you sleep.
Really?
No, it's not. It's where my feet were, not where my head was. And so he leans up and he looks down and he's just like, oh. No. And so he goes down there and what he ends up doing, and this is 4 o'clock in the morning, is he hops out of bed and goes and turns on the light and throws back his covers and his sheets and is like carefully peeking down around the corner of his bed to find whatever is going and he's like looking, and he's getting kind of weirded out, like getting kind of nervous because he's the only one here, and of course he can't go wake up his friends and be like, there's a monster in my and so
monster in my bed.
he literally gets on his hands and his knees and is like crawling under his bed to find the noise. It's coming from that back wall somewhere.
Oh, the frog.
Oh my gosh!
What do you think?
So John comes out and he has a rough 2 hours until 6 o'clock when he wakes up, where he's just like thrashing in his sleep and he keeps hearing the rat noise. And he gets up and he leaves his room because he's done being in it. He doesn't want to hear that noise anymore. So he's the Grim Reaper coming to take him, and he doesn't want to be there for it. And so he leaves and he showers and he gets ready and he writes a letter that he has to. And he meets with all his friends, his boys, back in his room at 7 o'clock for the devotional. However, he's trying to explain to them about his midnight experience with this creature. And they don't believe him for some reason. They're like, oh, you're so funny. When all of a sudden, John says, I just wish you guys could have heard it.
And then all of a sudden,
they're all laughing, and then there's this rat. And I'm like, are you making fun of me?
Fun of me?
You're making fun of John? What is going on? And no, it's the creature from my dreams, from my nightmares. It's this monster hiding in my room somewhere. And it's making the rat noise. And so we spend the next 15 minutes trying to find this creature. And so what ends up happening is John gets up on his bed because he figures the noise is coming from somewhere in this wall. This Joe. Yeah, Joe and John are up there. And we are like in the blinds and everything. And John's standing on his bed, like listening, like peeking around the corner, trying to look for anything where the monster could be. And then the noise happens again, all right? But this is kind of really freaky because it happens right
right where like there's a little
My
like
hand is right
window
here, and this
thing.
creature is right there, and he goes, "Rah!" and I'm like, ah! And I freak out, and John falls off the bed, and somebody, I'm pretty sure it was Pablo, was over in the window trying to climb out, and he hears me screaming, he freaks out, and he jumps up and hits his head on the windowsill. And all of us are screaming and freaking out, and nobody knows what to do, and there's this monster in my window.
That no one can see.
And we can't find it for anything. So once John builds up the courage to go back up to the window, he listens for the monster.
About 5 minutes later.
And then they all take a vote, and they decide they're going to open the window, and so they slowly, well, actually somebody else does it, John won't touch it. They open the window, and then
me.
and
I
they
remember.
kind of wait for a minute, nothing happens, and there's no blood, so we didn't kill it. And John looks, and he goes, you know, like, where like you lift up the window, and there's like this sliding bar so it can slide up. You know what I'm talking about? And so they slid it up, and John looks under here, and there's a hole there too, actually, one on the inside, one on the outside. And he looks, and he goes, is there something up there? There's a dark, shadowy figure. He goes back, and he goes, I can't see, does somebody have a flashlight? And then the hero, Michael, runs to his room and grabs his flashlight and runs back, and Joe steals it and says, I'm looking first. So they get up under there, and they turn on the flashlight, and they look, and nobody can see anything except for Joe, because Joe's the only one who looks, because like, it's such a small space, and there's only one flashlight. And Joe says, oh my gosh, it's the biggest thing I've ever seen. And we're all like, what is it? What is it? And then I'm pretty sure that John got to look next. And he looked up there, and there it is.
Eyes staring
This
down.
monster just, all you can see is his fat little head. And he's just, maybe a couple little of his fat toes, and he's just looking right at you. But he's this like green thing with this giant mouth and these big ol' eyes, and he just stares. And he like is breathing kind of fast because he's nervous for some reason, and so his heart's pounding, he's breathing fast, and he's just like, like just glaring. Oh my gosh, and I'm pretty sure when Jeremy saw it, he screamed like a little girl.
Jeremy. It was literally
Jeremy,
like,
where are you? Let's hear the
It
scream.
was higher than that.
Let's hear the scream.
and I jumped across the bed and scared the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Long story short, we tried to get the monster out of there, but the monster is still in my windowsill. And will probably sing me lullabies tonight.
Evil, heinous
This
lullabies.
heinous creature, which I don't know if you want to record this, but I described it as the unholy offspring between a death cricket and a hell frog. That's what it was.
And that is the end of our tale.
To this day, he still remains in my windowsill. Tonight, he will no longer remain there.
Kill him.